So we're live now, and welcome everybody to Gray Skies and Electric Light, my MYFAROG campaign using the coming rule set. We have another new player who is actually my wife's joining us. So I'm gonna have her do a brief introduction of her character, so you can take that away, like like at your leisure.
Okay, so I will be playing Charlotte. She's not really going to go into too much with her, but she's 22. She's about 5'4", 190 pounds. She's going to be dressed really plainly in all black. She just doesn't want to draw a lot of attention to herself right away.
Okay.
And that's about all I can say right now.
Okay. All right. So, to recap the last session, the party had finished up a brief firefight in this massive clusterfuck of a building called the Slums, which is kind of like the Kowloon walled city in Hong Kong in the end of the 20th century, and they began to interrogate one of the men that they were fighting against, and he began spewing a bunch of weird tales and theories that the really kind of fell on deaf ears for the most part from the party. One of them being how he claimed that the like all of the land that used to be Germany, Austria, the German part of Switzerland, and the territories that made up the land called Prussia had all been completely bulldozed and turned into a massive green energy farm. Well, after they had gone back to this, had taken this man into custody, the party went about their business as usual, and I believe it was Soleil began to do a little bit of a research. He kind of looked up the constitution of the party and had discovered that the what the man had said about the former uh, German territories was in fact true, but they kind of spun it in a way that it seems a bit more. They really sugarcoated it, made it sound like it was a good thing, that the German people did a very good thing for the world, and the rest of the evening, I think after that I think it was uh, Officer Springs was in the hospital, I believe. I do apologize. It's been a little bit, and I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, but I do remember
No, that sounds correct. I think I was injured in
you were injured
the
in the firefight, and so you were in the hospital recovering, and
correct.
they paid him a little visit, I think, and then once they had all kind of returned home for the night for the evening, they kind of had like a very strange dream about like some sort of like violent event happening somewhere in the city, but they couldn't tell really where. And when they woke up, there was a rather large commotion that was taking place in front of the Citadel, which is uh, the seat of parliament for the party. Now, all of them basically scrambled to get their uniforms on to respond to what's going on, but they were recalled by their commander, Lieutenant Mayor, to disregard what was going on and just report to the station. So, they did, and not just kind of like not a whole lot happened there. They just kind of sat around and kind of watched this event kind of unfold from the safety of their of the station. A couple hours go by, and they are asked to drive down to like a unspecified location to deal with some of these rioters that had been captured. So the party, take their weapons and head out to this location, and it was basically just kind of like a big concentration camp in which they had spent the next couple hours putting bullets in the back of these rioters' heads. So much so that Soleil and Officer Springs developed PTSD from the event, and they simply just, like, could not stomach like executing any more of these prisoners. Their comrade Hector Keegan, who is not joining us today or tonight, he was unaffected, more than likely because of his history serving in the military. He's become kind of numb to the bloodshed, so he was fine. He kind of stayed behind. I believe how it ended is Sergeant Greiser and Officer Springs went back to their truck or their van, and were just kind of reflecting on what the hell just kind of happened. And that's essentially where we find ourselves now. So, both of you have taken part in, quite a horrible atrocity. And you, so what does, after all that, what's going through both of your minds right now?
Some sort of chorus of gotta get out of here, just gotta get out of here. Something like that. Maybe even saying it out loud.
Yeah, I feel Ronald's probably about the same, perhaps even not thinking at all. He's just kind of zoned right out from just the pure shock of everything going on. So he's probably just staring out the window after having this deep conversation with Soleil, and just thinking about how the whole day has gone completely wrong from his perspective.
All right, so you guys are pretty much alone. Pretty much everybody everybody is just kind of inside the walls of the this internment camp, and just continuing to fill these they're basically just like semi trucks. Like whenever a one of these prisoners gets executed, they just take away the body and just chuck it unceremoniously into the back of like a trailer, and once it's full, they're just wheeled away. You don't really know where exactly they're going, but it's pretty safe to assume they won't be seen again. So you could, I guess it would be safe to assume that like let's see, Lieutenant Mayor would kind of would probably crackle over your radios and say, Sergeant Greiser, Officer Springs, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Over.
I'd like both of you to report back to the station immediately.
Affirmative. Over.
I expect to see you soon. Uh, Lieutenant Mayor's out.
I think it was. I think usually Springs is the one driving, so I'll just sit back and just rub my eyes.
Yeah, Ronald will just kind of mutter under his breath, like, let's get out of here. This is too much, and he'll start slowly driving in that direction. And yeah, he's not going to say too much else after that.
Understood. So, pretty much, I don't remember exactly how far out they are, but really the scenery that you see is very little forestation, very few trees, but a lot of solar panels, and a lot of wind turbines. Not too many birds or anything of the like. It's just very barren. So, when you finally get back into the Unity City limits and back into the office of the Conspirator and Dissidence Department, or CDD, it's I guess, unusually quiet for the office, considering probably a majority of them are still out at the internment camp, doing away with the rioters. So you make your way to Lieutenant Avery Mayer's office, and that's Lieutenant Mayer's, is sitting at their desk, going over some paperwork. And once you get in, they will put down their paperwork and say, Sergeant Greiser, Officer Springs, glad you could make it back.
I won't say anything. Just sort of give them the 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, Ron's not going to say anything either. He's just going to kind of nod in kind of acknowledgement that she's greeted them, but he's not going to say hi, or he's not in the mood right now. He's trying to put on a smile, but he's not succeeding.
It goes without saying that two of you have been greatly affected by what we are undertaking right now. That puts a lot of stress on the mind. The human mind is a very fragile thing, and we understand that. And for the two of you are very vital assets to our team. We can't afford to have your minds become too weakened by these sorts of things. So I have come to the decision to put both of you on administrative leave so that you can recover, mentally from the events of today. This will all be paid, of course, and you take a few weeks to rest and recover mentally. We'll be sending you your a package, for taking your leave. It should have all the resources that you need to seek the best treatment for your trauma. Is that understood?
I'll just nod.
Understood. And that's all Ron will be able to mutter out, and he'll just kind of ask if there's anything else, but he's not going to put too much enthusiasm in it. He's pretty beat for the day.
Lieutenant Mayers nods some more, and they say, "Well, you are free to deposit your weaponry back in the armory, and you can head back to your dwellings. Any form of paperwork that you may need to fill out will be filled out by your fellow colleagues here. So nothing, no other we're not putting any further burden on you other than after what the two of you have gone through. So the two of you just rest up and recover, and we'll see. We will be checking in on you, maybe once a week, just to monitor your condition. And if all goes well, we should be seeing you back in as little as 2 weeks. You two are dismissed."
I'll leave and go think about depositing my weapon. But the fact that I'm thinking about it is perhaps a sign of the times.
I think Ronald has probably recognized the look on her face as they're just strolling towards the armory. It's probably slowed down quite a bit in pace. So he's going to say, isn't it weird that she's, or I guess they've been, I don't know, that was the first time I've actually nice to us, or at least sympathetic at all, show any emotion. And it's kind of weird that they want us to disarm ourselves so readily. I don't know. She usually doesn't say that. She usually leaves that to another surgeon to mention that.
Makes me wonder. I don't know what to think about this new department. Do you think that we would get written up if we forgot to deposit our weapons, officer?
This is probably the first time Ron's actually smiled since the whole events have gone down, and he's going to say, I think mental grief qualifies for a little bit of forgetfulness, Sergeant. And just out of curiosity, Mythmaster, is there anywhere that we know that we could easily kind of slip out without going through a ton of security, or is this pretty locked up?
Um, I mean, there's probably like your standard like the fire escapes, like the fire stairwells. Those are probably not as like very well guarded. I mean, you're not gonna like trigger an alarm. It's just they're just kind of
Yeah, that was my thought. Is if there's like an easy way to get out, or if we kind of chance that it's low staff today and we just try and sneak out. I'm good either way.
I'd imagine in the current situation, it'd be kind of like low staff right now. Anyways, they're all they're all probably assisting in some way in cleaning up the aftermath of the riot.
Yeah, I think we're probably good just to walk out. It's up to you, Soleil, but Ron's definitely going to keep his weapon on him and not turn it in. I don't know. It is a little strange after that. So he's going to start, I guess, heading towards the main, I guess, exit towards our vehicles. Or I guess is it Ron who has the only vehicle, or is it Soleil who has her own car?
I think it's
You have you have your own car.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
Springs who has his own vehicle.
Okay, so I will offer to, I guess, drive the sergeant home, which is probably fairly custom. I think she's on his way home. So we'll just do, I guess, our normal routine and start heading out towards the parking lot and hope nobody notices.
Thank you. You remember all that stuff the guy we interrogated was saying about Germany?
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this. Like, I as a player
I
literally
do remember
don't
that.
remember who I told about this, but turns out it's actually at least partially true. The German-speaking parts of Europe are no longer inhabited.
I guess that's not the craziest thing Ronald's probably heard today, but he's just going to kind of frown and be like, yeah, I kind of did some research on my own in my spare time, and all I could find out was it was some sort of big energy plant and some just very glossary history notations that were marked online. But that's I don't know. Coming from you, Sergeant, that sounds like it's something a bit more than we're being told. I don't know. After everything that's gone on today, I don't know.
These are interesting times. Makes me wonder if it was always this way, or if before the party came to power it wasn't. Those are dangerous thoughts to be having, though. I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah, Ron's just going to be thinking this over as we're making our way to our car, and he's going to nod, and he's going to I couldn't even imagine what it would be like before all this steel and concrete around us. It'd feel so empty and barren. I don't know. Does he notice anyone suspiciously watching us or following us as we're just kind of strolling our way to the vehicle?
So I would say that you're outside now. Make me a perception check for me, both of you.
All right.
That's a 7.
I got like a 3.
Okay, so you don't see anybody, but you do kind of hear. It sounds like like a very. It kind of sounds like a soft, kind of like a whimper, like someone's like kind of someone in the distance, maybe like kind of like weeping.
I guess Ron's gonna be kind of mid conversation talking about this and just kind of looking around, but then he's gonna say, like, stop and say, "Hey, Soleil, do you hear that?"
As a matter of fact, I think I do.
Do we know the approximate direction it's coming from, or do we just kind of hear it off in the distance?
Let me see. Where's my D4? It seems to be coming from, as I'm assuming you're outside, like out in the open. It sounds like it's coming from somewhere behind you, but like maybe like not directly behind you, but just like maybe just like slightly off to the side, but it's something that you hear somewhere behind you.
All right, I think Ron's going to feel braver than he normally would be, and he's going to start kind of heading in that direction casually.
Okay, so, out of curiosity, you kind of start heading in the direction, and it's of the sound of like somebody crying. It sounds like actually sounds like a woman crying, and it starts to get a little bit louder as you start coming towards the alleged source, and kind of like down like an alleyway, like a fairly dark alleyway. It's a bit a little bit dirty. There's like a little bit of trash kind of strewn about. You see a figure kind of not necessarily, kind of like a curled up like beside like a dumpster, and that sounds then that that seems to be where the crying is coming from, or for rather who the crying is coming from. This would be Stacy's character, of course. So this is your first appearance. So if you have some words to say for your character, Stacy, go ahead.
I mean, that was kind of exactly what I was thinking. She's kind of curled up against the dumpster. She's got like a really heavy, like black knitted sweater on, so you can't see much of her. She's got really dark hair. And she's just kind of, she's very upset.
All right, so I guess seeing that, everything of the previous kind of few hours kind of washes away in Ronald's mind, and he kind of kicks back into his basic police training, and he kind of motions over to Sergeant, and then he kind of walks and approaches, I guess it's Charlotte. He wouldn't know her name, but he'll approach her, and he'll just be like, ma'am, is everything okay? Can I help?
She's gonna flinch away from you pretty quickly.
We're not here to hurt you. Whatever's happened, whatever's happened, trust me, we weren't part of it. And I'll just grimace.
Um, she's gonna look up, and she's extremely vulnerable, and she's just going to say, "I don't want to die."
Ronald's just going to give a really concerned look to both of the people around him, and he's going to be like, "Sarge, you wait with her. I'm just going to grab the car and let's get out of here before we. I don't want to linger around here too long."
All right. And then I'll turn to Charlotte. Would you mind coming with us? What's your name?
She's real hesitant still, but she looks up at you and says, "Charlotte."
We're here to help. We can keep you safe. What is it that has you worried?
She just kind of looks down and shakes her head no, like she doesn't really want to say much right now.
That's all right. Are you in any immediate danger at the moment?
Always.
That's concerning.
When she looks up at you, you can kind of see that she has a black eye.
At this point, I imagine Officer Springs will probably have the car nearby.
Yeah, I probably would have increased my speed to get to the car as quickly as possible, seeing the situation, and got it as quickly as I could to the two ladies and help them both into the car, just trying to get out of there as quick as we could. And as soon as we do that, I guess I'll start driving just out of the immediate area and towards, I guess, either Ronald's or Soleil's. I guess it's the same area, so he'd be driving in that direction.
Let's see. I think Soleil's house is maybe in a. Since she walks, I'd imagine she lives fairly close by to the station, so I would imagine Soleil's apartment would be the closest.
All right, yeah, Ronald will start heading in that direction, and he'll, I guess, start asking questions about how she managed to end up in that situation, and he'll also ask Soleil if she has any ideas of where we could take her. Like, is it safe to go to her apartment, or does she need, like, I don't know her situation, so.
I guess it's really up to Soleil.
Sorry. I was sort of cutting in and out for about a minute there.
No worries. We were just trying to discuss where it'd be best to kind of hold up as a whole group. Better to, like, convene back at your apartment or convene back at Ronald's place. His apartment's pretty clean, so we could even do that.
I'll ask, are you two hungry?
Charlotte shakes her head no. She is real hesitant around Ron. She does not want to say much to him, by the way.
Okay, so he'll probably kind of get that vibe, and he'll just more or less leave the conversing being the female officer in the vehicle.
Would you be okay? Would you be okay talking at my apartment, Charlotte?
She just really slowly nods yes.
All right, that's where we'll go then.
All right, I'll head that way. I'll probably drop them off, and then I'll run out and grab some food. Trying to give her some time to actually gather the situation and gather a story and try and figure out what's going on and the best way that we can help this poor girl, because obviously she's gone through quite a bit of either a hard day or a hard week or a hard couple of months to perhaps even her whole life, this poor lady. So he will do what he can and not try and press too hard, because obviously she's a little hesitant around male figures.
Once we get to the apartment, I'll just pull up some chairs, and I believe we at one point discussed we had a scene taking place in Soleil's apartment, and I remember we said there were some posters from theater productions she had been part of. So she'll point to one of those, and it'll just be probably an old Broadway production, and she'll just ask, have you ever heard of, what would it be? Can someone volunteer me the name of a musical real quick?
Just like a made up one, probably because the old era, probably theater from the old eras doesn't exist.
Ah, that's right.
The only surviving musical is Cats.
Oh no. Anyway, so whatever it is, I'll just say, have you ever seen that?
She'll shake her head, yeah, and she'll just say, not her favorite.
Oh, that's all right. Are you into theater or musical theater? Either do you watch it a lot?
No.
So, just so you know, whenever you're ready, you can tell me what happened. I just want to make sure you're safe and okay.
She's gonna take a deep breath, and she's gonna be fidgeting with her sleeves, making sure that they're pulled down as far as they can, and she's gonna be looking at the floor, and then she's gonna look at you and say, "Before I say anything, please show me the back of your neck."
All right, I'll turn around. And Soleil doesn't have very much hair, so she doesn't have to lift anything up.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing there.
There's a neck, but yeah. At least I would hope there's a neck.
I guess roll perception for Charlotte.
I am nowhere near my dice right now.
Okay. You want me to roll for you real quick?
Yes, please.
Just from a summary glance, there is in fact a neck there, but nothing too out of the ordinary, other than maybe some marks from her many escapades that she might have taken part in, as a regular police officer. But other than that, it's just it's a neck.
Charlotte's gonna let out a huge sigh, and enough to bring tears to her eyes a little bit, and then she's gonna turn around and show you her neck. And on the back of it, there's a decent sized branding pretty intricate.
Do I at all recognize this, or could I roll world lore?
You wouldn't recognize this branding. It seems like a it seems like a I don't know exactly how exactly to describe, but it's like not a marking that you've seen in any textbook that you've maybe read or seen in any lectures about any like religious or like kind of like cults, but it's something that you really haven't seen before.
Do I at all recognize the practice of branding the back of the neck?
Roll world lore for me.
All right. That's going to be my second less than 5 roll of the night.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
That is, actually, that's exactly 5, but yeah.
You wouldn't have a clue. Like,
all right. So I'll just ask, what does that brand mean?
It's the mark of my family.
What family would that be, if you don't mind me asking?
Now, I will remind you. That in this world, there are no families.
That's right.
Most everybody, as far as they're aware, like they never had families, and so really the concept of what a family is, you maybe understood or understand what the term family means, but the traditional concept of a family in this world just simply doesn't exist. So that would be.
Would I even recognize the word?
You've maybe heard, maybe read the word in like a dictionary, but it's like not something that you hear a lot about, or like in any real sense, outside of maybe like it'd be like, oh, we're a work family or something, or some sort of nonsense like that. But
So I guess instead of asking what family that would be, I will ask, you have a family?
She's gonna clam up real fast, and she's not gonna say anymore right away.
I think at this point, Ronald would have been like bursting back in the most awkward moment of this conversation with like a big bucket of food and just set it down gracefully on the table and just
you got like
said, well,
Beyond Chicken, just like some soy-based KFC.
Yeah, I feel like Ron's just celebrating the fact that we survived the night and not used to having company in any capacity. He's probably just gotten a little bit of everything because he's not sure what his new companion likes. So there's a little bit of just everything. He basically bought the whole menu, and I guess his paranoia is going to start kicking in. He's just going to kind of grab a little bit of the food and just start peeking out the windows of Soleil's apartment, and that's basically all Ron's doing right now, is just kind of scuttling about the apartment.
As soon as Charlotte smells the food, she's going to eat as much of it as she possibly can, like a raccoon in the corner.
Ronald's gonna smile and say to Soleil, he's like, yeah, she was hungry, I'm glad.
I haven't eaten in 3 days.
His smile's gonna quickly drop, and he's gonna just, whatever little bit of food he has in his hand that he grabbed, he's just gonna hold on to that, and he's gonna kind of shove the rest of the food towards her and just be like, well, eat as much as you want. There's way more than enough. I wasn't thinking when I was ordering.
She'll flinch when you get closer, but she will continue to eat them.
He will promptly take a step back and politely resume his kind of watch over the window in the doorway, and be like, "Well, I don't think anyone's following us. I don't think Avery sent anyone. I think she might have honestly wanted us to just go get some rest time."
So, I asked some questions to Charlotte, and I'm talking to Ron, but I'm not like whispering or anything. I'm just putting everything out in the open. So I talked to Charlotte, and she asked me if I had anything on the back of my neck, and I didn't, but she has a marking that she says denotes her family. Is this something that you've heard about before?
Ronald's eyebrows are probably just going to raise up a little bit when he hears family, just in a little bit of shock, and he'd be like, "Oh, well, that's neat. No, I don't know much about that." And he'll just kind of show his neck just to kind of join the whole group. And I don't think there's anything there unless Jeremy says otherwise, but he'll just kind of quickly display that he doesn't have anything weird on the back of his neck either.
No, you indeed just have a regular neck. Just the same as Soleil.
Charlotte will relax a little bit after seeing that, but she's still not fully trusting you.
Ronald just more so focuses his attention just on Soleil. He'd be like, "So what do we do now, Sergeant? I don't think I've had this much free time at my disposal, so
I suppose we eat."
That's a solid plan. So start digging into some fries. You'll probably pull up his whatever little news source and try and get some information about the fiasco at the Citadel over the last couple of hours, but I imagine it's the same news feeds he's been reading the entire time he was at the police station.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lot of, it's just like, like fascist terrorists have, besieged the Citadel. Just like a lot of like very sensationalist headlines.
I'll turn to Charlotte and ask, did you hear or witness any of the utter chaos that's been going around Unity City this past day?
I have. It's horrible. And I'm really sorry.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're good.
I was just going to say, and I interrupted you again. Sorry.
Good. I just said, I'm truly sorry.
So I'll just mentally note that by the tone of voice, and the choice of words, it sounds like she personally witnessed or partook in this or was caught up in it. And I'll just note that mentally. And I'll nod in a sympathetic manner.
Yeah, Ronald's probably a little afraid to even ask if she has a home or if it perhaps even got raided during that whole fiasco or what happened, but he'll just keep quiet for now and just scroll through the feeds and see if there's anything useful he can glean, but he's just scrolling through a sea of just sensationalized headlines and just all kinds of, I'm sure, promotional material and all kinds of wild modern chaos of newsfeed. But
yeah, it's a lot of a lot of like sensationalist headlines and just like random that just like random pictures of like rioters during the event that just like the pictures almost look too perfect, like almost like they're staged. And it's also kind of like mixed in with a bunch of advertisements for various products in there that are basically just like pornography. But this is it's basically the norm is that that sort of content is just become so normalized that just like seeing it on a massive billboard in the center of town is just normal or just completely normalized. But
yeah, I'd say probably after about a half hour of us finishing our meals and Ron scrolling through this, he's gonna get a little sick of it and just kind of set it aside and be like, well, the only thing I learned is we could have saved about half a credit on our meal tonight with a bit of a coupon, but that's that's all right. Is there anything you needed to take care of, Soleil, or are you just gonna relax for the time that we have off? I think we should take care of our new friend here now that we have so much free time.
I don't have anything else to do, yeah.
Perfect. Charlotte, did you you mentioned you had a family, or I'd hate to ask, are any of them still out there in the chaos, or are they probably holding safe?
There are many, and they're safe.
Ron will just nod. Okay, that's good. Did you need to get back to them, or are they...
No.
Okay. Well, I think we should keep you here and keep you safe and at least kind of give you a little bit of a place to call your own for a little while. Kind of recover. I know it's absolute chaos right there. I don't think any of us are wise going out there now, so we'll just hunker down for a bit, and if there's anything you need to do, or if Soleil, if there's anything you need to do, we can do that. But I don't know. What do you do after such craziness, right?
Charlotte, make me a perception check.
Hang on, I gotta get up.
Sorry.
Trying to keep the kid quiet. Uh, 10.
10?
Yeah.
As you were kind of looking around the apartment, you you find yourself looking like very specific like corners of the room, and you think that in like one corner of the room you see a what you think could be like a hidden camera, not like a security camera, like a Nest camera, just like some sort of like a hidden listening device that was in that wasn't, like Soleil didn't put that there. Like it's just there.
She was gonna back away from it real slowly, and she's just going to say, "I know I shouldn't have trusted you."
What makes you say that?
What is this? And she points to it.
Points to what? Sorry?
The spy device in the corner.
Sorry, I'm not hearing very well. I do.
No, that's all right. I think from what I've gathered, Charlotte's basically discovered some sort of bug that's been implanted in your apartment, and she's probably rightly freaked out about it. So
Okay.
Ron's probably just finishing the rest of his drink, and he's be like very confused as he's watching this conversation go down between the two of you. And as she points to the bug, his eyes are just going to kind of go wide.
Soleil is going to start and just sort of investigate it, like, just confirm that it is indeed what it looks to be. And then, so is it like a listening bug, or is it more of a camera?
I guess make me a. I don't have my. Hang on, I gotta find my second copy of Becoming. Wait, no, no. Where's the I guess it was.
I think it could still be mechanics.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's up to you, right?
Yeah.
There's crafts or mechanics. Yeah, it's still mechanics in the Coming.
Yeah,
from what I remember.
I'd say mechanics. Yeah, roll mechanics if you will.
All right. I don't think well, actually, no, I don't have any. Oh, gosh. That's going to be literally a modified 1.
Oh, no.
A modified 1.
So as far as I'm concerned, this is probably like a fly, and I'm just going to swat it.
Yeah. It's like, either it's just like, you don't necessarily like believe that there's anything there, and if there is, like, you just kind of like I guess to kind of like maybe just like cool things down, just to just like swat it away or something, or either that, just like cover it up with something.
Yeah, I'm thinking if this was a microphone, Soleil's probably just rubbed her hand right on it and just created a lot of really unnecessary noise.
There's gonna be some guy sitting in one of those FBI vans with the headphones on, and he's gonna be like, "Ah!"
I mean, very rightly so, but also like hearing the conversation leading up to that, they probably know we know. Ron, however, does know some mechanics, so he'll probably run over and investigate as well. If I can make a check just to verify that it is a bug, would that be more of a perception, or did you still want a mechanics roll?
I would say, well, since it's already been pointed out, I'd say it wouldn't be perception, but yeah, like mechanics for sure, just to kind of verify what it is.
So that's a 17 altogether.
You are able to ascertain that it is indeed some sort of like spy device that is capable of both, listening and like seeing. But it's like kind of like hidden in the wall. It's like almost like a little peephole.
Gotcha. So I guess Ronald will very kind of casually slide something in front of it so it's not observing anymore. And then he'll just nonchalantly just be like, "So, Soleil, what's your favorite sports team?" And then he'll just mouth like, "Shit, we're caught."
To be honest, I never... Oh, shit. I'll just sort of catch on to what's...
And then Ronald will just nod and be like, "We need to go. We should probably go for a little drive, or maybe go to a movie or something. I don't know. We got such a nice day ahead of us,
Yeah.
And he'll just kind of motion for everyone to just start slowly getting out of the apartment or backing away. I imagine we have most of our things, so it's not too big of a problem.
Oh, Charlotte's already out the door and down the hall.
That's probably the smartest one of all of us. So as soon as Ron and Soleil get out of the door, he'll be like, "Shit, they're onto us. They definitely bugged us. That is definitely audio and visual."
All right, so you guys have fled the apartment, and where are you heading now?
I guess we'll get into Ron's car, but I mean, it's probably marked as some sort of vehicle. Like, they'll know I'm driving it. They'll know we're moving. So I guess instinctually we'll meet up back there and try and see where Charlotte's hopefully not wandered off too far away from the group, if she hasn't completely lost trust in us. And then try and convene and see what the best plan is to do.
I think it would be wise not to drive, because, as you said, out of character, they may have bugged your car.
Smart. I guess we'll just start walking. Is there a place we should go? Do you know of anywhere, Soleil? Do we know of any place covert from our police work that would be perhaps less monitored?
Roll world lore. Both of you,
Okay.
actually.
All right. I got a 16.
I got a 15 minus all my stuff is an 11.
You do remember somewhere it was like kind of I guess you would call it like a warehouse or a storeroom that you've that has kind of fallen out of use, as much as the industry is like kind of booming. The like sometimes like randomly these businesses just, I guess, randomly just kind of pack up and disappear, And in this particular kind of like industrial complex, sometimes security can be kind of lax. So there's probably somewhere in the warehouse you could probably hide that it would be kind of difficult for like a spy device, or you know some something that like they'd be able to kind of, it'd be difficult to kind of track you down at, I suppose, or maybe. But that's kind of like the first thing that you could think of that.
Yeah, no, that makes 100% sense. So I guess he'll kind of look over at Soleil, and we'll probably have like an old code word for it. So we'll just say, like storehouse or whatever it is, and then start heading that way. Ronald will probably turn back to Charlotte and be like, just so you know, me and Soleil were kind of given forced vacation starting today, and we were probably told to turn in our guns. Neither of us did that, so just in case things go down, don't be surprised if we have guns on us. just so you're aware. I don't want to surprise you later. I figured trust is probably the best course of action at this point.
She's gonna give you a kind of a weird look and just nod.
He was like, that's probably the best response I could have hoped for. Thank you. And he'll continue on his way.
Okay, so this warehouse that you know of, it's probably like on foot, it's probably like an hour or so away. So let's see.
So that's a decent walk for us, for sure. Okay.
It is quite a walk, and even throughout like the tension and the like kind of like the scare that you had, that like you like you're definitely being like spied on or monitored, but it doesn't seem like you're being followed by any men in black, so to speak. You haven't seen any weird unmarked vans following you or whatnot. So you're you kind of you're put at ease that if like it was absolutely imperative that you be like kind of arrested, that you probably would have been detained by now. So that gives you a little bit of comfort.
Ron will probably just make a joke out of it, just to set Charlotte's mind at ease, because I'm not sure she is aware of all the police ins and outs. So he'll just be like, "Well, they would have got us by now if that was what they wanted." So I don't think they're that concerned of us eating a couple fries and beyond chicken bites. So he'll probably slow down and just kind of start laughing. He'll be like, "I don't know, maybe there's one of those installed in everyone's apartments."
Charlotte, roll world lore for me. If you're not near your dice, I'll roll for it if that's fine with you.
Yeah, my hands are kind of full.
All right, I'll roll. I'll do the roll for you. Okay, so yeah, she's just going to kind of. She's still a little frazzled from the whole experience, so she just kind of just just nods and acknowledge that you've kind of like what you said. And the complex around the this warehouse or storehouse that you've pointed out, it's a very like nondescript storehouse. It looks pretty like newly built, but you can definitely kind of see around you that like things are starting to get a little bit overgrown since it's been out of use for a little bit of time. And any sort of lock that would be on the door, you the police pretty much have this sort of like universal key that can unlock basically any civilian, like any sort of like civilian door. So getting into the complex is not terribly difficult for you. You might have had to like maybe like climb over or under a like a chain link fence or something, but other than that, it's like you're able to get inside this complex with relative ease.
I guess Ron welcoming everyone into this kind of not so dingy but large warehouse that's just definitely a big change from Soleil's rather comforting apartment. He'll be like, "Well, this is nice. It's like we never left. What do we do now? I guess I'll look around, see if we can find anything useful, but you two can find somewhere comfortable to actually like relax after that long walk." And Ron will probably just look around and try and find anything.
Okay, so as you're kind of walking around. You hear a kind of a voice call out. It's kind of like it's like hey, like what are you doing here? Just like leave me alone, man. Just it doesn't sound like a security guard. It just sounds like it like the voice kind of sounds kind of like slurred. So it's the person who's saying it is probably like drunk or inebriated in some other faculty. So it's probably just like a drifter of some sort or some other degenerate that's kind of strung out and found themselves in this building.
I guess just the given situation, Ron will be very unlike himself with all the adrenaline kind of pumping through him and just kind of yell out, be like, "Get lost!" And I guess he could add police to it as well. Just police business.
And then the voice just kind of yells back. He's like, "You pigs need to mind your own business." Like, it's like you guys tell us that we got this right to have a house, and yet here I am, like forced to live on the fucking street. And you guys have to chase me out anywhere I try and set up camp. So you could shove your police business up your ass for all I care. Again, all of this is kind of somewhat incoherent and slurred.
The drunken rambling is really pissing off Charlotte.
I guess Ron's gonna see that and be like, "All right, out of here now. I'm gonna warn you once, and this is that warning. So get out now."
I'm not moving a muscle, you fucking piece of shit.
Ron's gonna draw his service weapon and also pull out his club, and then step a little bit closer to this guy.
Hey, that's not a good idea. Sir, all we're asking is that you let us stay here for just a little bit.
What's in it for me?
Well,
I guess
no.
Ron's.
I'm gonna let the officer here beat the shit out of you.
I guess Ron's seeing that he's definitely getting more traction with a bit of honey rather than a stick. He's going to pull out one of his ethical protein meal replacement bars out of his coat pocket and just kind of toss it in the guy's direction and be like, "It's yours. Now get out of here."
Alright, whatever. Like, it's like I haven't eaten like a good few days, so it's a good deal, I guess. And he just kind of unwraps the bar and just starts kind of chomping away at it as he just kind of stumbles out of the building.
Ron will wait till he leaves and then just kind of crack a smile and look back at Sergeant Soleil and be like, "And that's why you're the sergeant. Thank you for having my back."
Just doing my job. Though officially we are off duty, so don't mention it.
Alright, so the inside of this warehouse, pretty nondescript, you know, a bit, pretty dimly lit, like kind of in the middle, and like on the outer, there's kind of just like a well lit kind of a walkway in the middle that's like kind of half like lit, with electrically, and there's like some skylights in there, but there's like some on like the wings, it's pretty dark, but there's really not too much space for like anybody else to hide. So now that you're here, what's the first order of business for the three of you?
I guess Ronald's just going to pull out everything out of his pockets just to make sure there's nothing on him that's some sort of device that he didn't specifically have on him earlier, like if there's any kind of listening device. So he'll go through all of his gear just to make sure there's nothing else extra. Assuming he doesn't find anything, he'll probably just keep guard after that.
I guess make just like a perception check.
Absolutely. 15.
Yeah, you don't find any anything that you could find to be a listening device. Like the only sort of like listening device that you would have had would be your like your body cam that you wear, but you turn that in before you like when you left whenever you left the station.
Okay.
I'm assuming that Soleil would do basically the same thing, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard it. I did say I was going to do the same thing, so I'll roll for that now.
All right.
There we go. That is a modified 20.
You find the you find your for what I guess for whatever reason you still have your like police body cam on you, but it is turned off at the moment.
I'm not taking any chances. I'm gonna cover it up with a Band-Aid.
Okay.
And I'll tell Officer Springs to do the same.
Yeah, I will for sure.
Okay. Are you talking? Because I can't hear you talking specifically about Charlotte.
No.
Okay. So it's just very I guess eerily quiet. Just you can maybe hear like the low hum of like some air conditioning unit, and maybe like the occasional like rare like rat that have kind of made this building their home. So it's compared to the city that you're surrounded by, it's very quiet. You definitely feel, very much alone now that you're here.
You see a lot of relief from Charlotte, but she's not exactly trusting too much anymore, even more so. But she is at least relaxed that we're fairly alone.
I guess Ronald's starting to really question why we've been bugged so badly, because this seems a little strange after all the events that have been going on. So he'll start kind of questioning and pondering out loud what do we actually know. We know the Citadel was attacked. We know it was probably orchestrated. We know they're onto us a little bit, probably. They're definitely monitoring us. I'm not sure if they know about Charlotte. They probably do. I don't know the best course of action from us, guys. I've never been in this situation.
As your superior officer, I have a rule that I've lived by, that I never ask another officer to do anything that I would not do myself. I ask of myself now something that I would not ask of anyone else. I'm going to play dumb. I'm going to radio to dispatch and ask about the bug at the apartment. If they ask for my location, I'll give them my location and I'll walk somewhere else and I'll tell them where I'm going.
That's possible. I'm just trying to think if that's definitely a good idea. I'm just trying to think if there's any way we can hack into the police system and see if we can see for ourselves what's going on without alerting them too much. Because as I would probably have told you once, I'm a little bit of a computer whiz myself, so...
See what you can figure out.
How far is the warehouse from the police area? You said it's an hour away from Soleil's, and that was fairly close to the police station. So it's probably at least an hour and 15 from the police station, from the warehouse. So
that's probably a good estimate.
Okay. So would it be wise for us to... Charlotte, do you feel like you want to join either of us? If you want, you can definitely do that if you want to wait at the warehouse. Although that's a little kind of creepy and depressing. Maybe it'd be better off with Soleil. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Soleil.
All right, let's reverse the plan then. I know you said that you wouldn't ask anyone to do what you wouldn't do, but you were literally just prepared to do it. So let's get close to the police station. I'll see if I can hack into the thing. If things start to go wrong, then I'll call it and just say, hey. And then I'll play dumb, just in case they start getting caught towards the end and we have a fallout plan, just in case. And you two can be nowhere near me, but you can be close enough to kind of monitor the situation as well. Does that sound like a semi-reasonable plan, or?
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right. So I guess we'll start gathering our supplies and heading in that direction and trying to figure out a game plan of where we're going to set ourselves up and where the best access points to some sort of police network would be.
Alright, so you guys are heading back to the station to just ask about like the bug. Is that what the plan is?
I mean, more so if I could get close enough to the station, or if I can find some sort of way to hack into the station's network. I mean, if I could do that from like farther away, that'd be best. But I imagine that all computers are kind of a little bit excluded from the police network, so we'd probably have to be close, was my assumption.
Yeah, I'd say that'd be a fair assumption. I mean, you absolutely have like access to like the police building. You have like your
key cards and all that.
Yeah, you're like authorized to like enter the building, so that's not a problem. It's just trying a way to get into like the network and see what you can find out.
All right, so do we want to try some espionage and getting into a building and finding information that way? And throw our Mythmaster for a complete loop? Or do we want to...
I think...
Unless we want to try a different approach and try and see if we can find Charlotte's family and see if we could get some sort of backup or information in that regard, or some sort of hideout. But again, I don't know how her situation is. So if she's better off here, or, I mean, she's better off with you regardless. But we're all safer together right now.
I suppose that's on what Charlotte wants to tell us.
She would definitely prefer you to not find her family right now.
Sounds like some espionage afoot. All right. I guess we'll walk close to the police station and we'll find somewhere for Charlotte and Soleil to kind of hang out and observe what Ron is going to do as he walks into the building. But he will give his probably weapon to probably Sergeant Soleil or Charlotte if she wants to hold on to it, because he's not going to just walk into a police station with a weapon that he should have relinquished.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about if you wanted to hand that over.
Yeah, I'll give it to whoever wants it. I mean, if Charlotte doesn't feel comfortable, Sergeant Soleil could just have the two handguns. So
I think it would set a good precedent to give it to Charlotte. So
yep. So I will definitely hand my weapon over to Charlotte, and it'll be kind of a good power exchange of Ron kind of being at her mercy at this point.
She'll take it.
Okay, perfect. So at least she has a weapon. I think it has a laser sight on it, so that is a nice little weapon to have. As we approach the police station, is there any kind of problems or encounters or anything weird that we see?
Let's see. I guess, like, when you first walk in, you see kind of like the receptionist, the kind of the receptionist at the at like the front desk kind of looks up and he just is like Officer Springs, like, what are you doing back so soon? I thought you were I was told that you were put on administrative leave.
Yeah, I am. I left some things up in the office. Do you mind if I run up and just grab them quick? I know it's so dumb. I can never leave this place, you know?
Yes, certainly. Just, make it quick.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Don't want to spend any longer at work than I need to, you know? He'll just kind of say jokingly as he kind of strolls on in.
You get a forced laugh out of the person at the desk.
Yeah, we're all just kind of on our NPC work mode, so we'll just crack the same usual jokes, and Ron will go about his business. I guess he would know somewhat about where the information or technology or whatever IT part of the police station would be, so he will work his way there because he's not going to go to his direct computer terminal.
Let me see. You would probably know that the police network, or at least locally where it is at this station, is on the it's actually kind of like below ground. So like the level below is kind of like where all like the I guess the supercomputers are down there.
That makes sense. So Ron's gonna probably start working his way down that way as quietly as he can and trying not to stick out.
Okay, so you like get down on like an elevator, you go down to the would be kind of like the server room, I suppose, and let's see if there's anybody down there. You don't, like, when you get down there, you don't immediately see anybody down there. You just kind of hear the quiet, like, whirring of the computers as they process like billions of like bytes of like information, like every like second. And like the air conditioning, which I guess, like, from your background, it's kind of a somewhat comforting sound to you.
Yeah, I think Ron probably actually finds it really relaxing. It's like Ron's ASMR, so he will he will just kind of relax and quietly walk towards one of the computers that he suspects would be the most likely to give him the most information.
All right. So you walk up to it's like any. You walk up to one of these computers, and what do you attempt to do once you like find the once you get up to that computer?
I guess he will try and do like a search of any information about events specifically, because that's something that's happened in the past that's very interesting to him. But he'll also look up information on Sergeant Stolet himself, Horace, and he'll also see if Charlotte's even in the system. But
roll computers for me, which is
obviously that's going to take a bit of time, so I will roll that as well. He will probably take as much time as he needs, but again, try not to be too long about it. Ooh, a 7. I will use a power of will if possible. Let me just actually check. I don't have a power of positive will. I can't. Okay. That's a 7.
You're unable to gain access to the computer. Like you kind of like get to like a kind of just like an authentication screen, and you just don't know the like what credentials to put in.
All right. Kind of a long shot. Ron will probably just look around, see if there's any notes or something weird, just for perhaps new users or new staff members to actually log in.
Okay. Make a. I'm gonna say foraging. Or just.
Alrighty. Natural 1. Beautiful.
You can't find anything of the sort.
All right. Having absolutely no luck, he will, I guess, look around, see if there's anyone he notices or knows, like a familiar face.
Actually, as you're thinking about that, the elevator door opens again, and 2 men come strolling out, and then they're kind of talking to each other. They're talking about some like, I guess you would call it like a club, like a nightclub that they went to, and the kind of weird like sexual escapades that they had taken part in. They're kind of laughing about it. Like they're not going into like too much graphic detail. They're just like just going on about like some of like the debauched, like hedonistic things that go on in this world today. They don't really see you at first. They're just kind of minding their own business. And one of them does like kind of sees you down there, and he's like, "Hey, it's like, you looking for something? Like, you need something?"
Yeah. Avery told me to just check some information about, one of the files that I have going on. I just wanted to, I forgot my login password upstairs. I just didn't want to run all the way up. I was just hoping that you guys, just run me through real quick if you wouldn't mind. I could make the walk, but again, it's all the way to the top floor.
Roll. Let's see. Would it be?
I think it's straight social skills. Yeah, it is. I believe.
I'll say social skills.
Unless you want trickery, which is also a thing, I think. But I could do social skills.
Yeah.
It's the same roll, to be honest.
It's the same roll, so just roll like a charisma roll.
19 minus 2 is 17. So not too bad.
And they believe you. It's just like, oh yeah, just here's the like the information that you need to like log into like one of the computers. They'll just kind of hand you. It's kind of just like an admittedly low tech for the period post-it note.
Beautiful.
With some like a username and password scribbled on it.
The technology is held strong, so I will take that and be like, yeah, thanks, man. Definitely saved me a walk. I appreciate that.
No
and after all those terrible rolls, I will attempt to log in.
Okay, so you go back to your computer, and now that you have the login credentials, you're able to log in. And what are you looking for exactly again?
There was a couple things. I don't know how long I want to spend. I was going to look up if there's another event scheduled, if I can access like Avery stuff and see if there's an event table of any, because that's the last thing with the Citadel was labeled an event on that date. So Ron's going to see if he can gather information, see if he can prevent one of these things or at least have some foresight.
Okay.
So I guess that'd be the first thing.
Okay, so make me another computers check.
Natural one.
You are unable to find any information on any like events going on. You can't really seem to find any of information like that would be attributed to Avery like directly.
All right, so he's gonna next look up Sergeant Soleil if she has a profile or a status on her file, if there's a file.
You were able to pull up kind of like Avery's profile, and there's a status, and it says it was updated very recently. It says something along the lines of it's like administrative leave, monitored, like in parentheses, monitored.
He'll look up his own name, see if it's the same thing.
Yeah, it says essentially the same thing.
Okay, he's going to look up Horace, which was Dandelion's character.
Yeah. Interestingly, you are unable to find any documentation on Horace whatsoever. It's almost as if he's just been scrubbed from the police records.
He's going to look up Hector, which is Lubin's character.
He is, he's on active duty. So he was not placed on administrative leave because he did very well on making sure he didn't gain PTSD from executing the rioters. So he's still on inactive duty.
Perfect. He's gonna look up like the Kerr family. If Charlotte did give her last name, I don't recall if she did, but he's gonna look up if there's any information on Charlotte.
Just specifically for Charlotte or her family?
It's up to Charlotte if she gave her full name. But yeah.
I don't remember if she.
I don't think Charlotte did give. Yeah, so I guess that'd be a hard search to look up then. So he won't do that. It's going to bother him a little bit that there's nothing on the events side, but he'll look up Avery, see if there's anything on her profile. Or if it's restricted, then he's going to kind of give up.
Make me another computers check. Like one.
All right. No worries. Dice made, don't fail me. 6. Not amazing.
Yeah, you like no dice. Like you're
One final thing he'll try and look for, and then he'll probably get out of there, is if there's any active like cases or investigations recently posted that are interesting.
Let's see. Two things that kind of, maybe I guess kind of pique your interest is there is kind of a that were kind of entered into the systems fairly recently, within like the past couple of days. There's like a there is like a sort of a, it's not really a missing persons report. It's almost like worded almost like it's a wanted poster. Like they're like the police are looking for this person. It does say like Charlotte Kerr like on it.
He'll click that just to gather any information on it.
It says essentially that the Charlotte Kerr is wanted for dissertation and treason.
Is there any way that I can delete that from the system, or is it going to be too complicated?
I'm going to say you probably don't have the credentials to delete that from the system at your...
No worries. All right, so Ron will probably feel like he's lingered long enough and he can't really think of anything else to search for, so he will probably log off. But he will keep that little slip as long as those two don't really say anything on his way out.
Yeah, they don't.
And
they don't really bother you. They're just kind of bullshitting some more, and like there's like a little tiny like coffee bar like off to the side. Like there's not like a like an actual like break room. It's just kind of like a little kitchenette.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just kind of continuing to bullshit about like their like off-duty escapades, if you will.
Ron will just kind of roll his eyes as he's walking out, just can ignore the degeneracy and start heading towards, I guess, the exit.
Okay. So you go back upstairs and you're able to head back head back upstairs, like without any incident, and you meet back up with Soleil and Charlotte.
Well, I didn't gather as much as I wanted to, but it definitely says that our statuses are monitored for myself and for Sergeant. And Charlotte, they're definitely... Well, I'm not going to say too much information, but I think they're looking for you as well. So it's safe to assume that the warehouses are safe kind of bet to meet up if we ever get separated. Soleil's is kind of a written off location because I feel like it's kind of compromised. However, if you guys want, we could work our way back to my house. I could kind of quietly enter my house, covertly get rid of the bug, and then we could all just work our way back up and then have that as a stay main quarters for the rest of the night. Be a little comfier than the warehouse, but it's up to you. If we want to be super safe, we can stay at the warehouse. What are your thoughts, Sergeant?
I think it might not be safe to be at either of our places after we have disabled the security device or the monitoring devices.
Yeah, fair enough. I didn't see too many people while going into work, but it doesn't surprise me if Avery's sitting on watching the security cameras either. So it might get around that I've been at work. It might not. I didn't really do anything specifically, but again, I was looking for some information. I couldn't get anything, but
I'm pretty sure it's protocol. They're supposed to tell everyone when if someone were being monitored in such a way. I don't know if it's protocol, but it would be certainly helpful not helpful, would have been efficient for them to just tell everyone to tell Avery if you came in. Discipline in this department is definitely lax, I must say.
Yeah, I think from individual department to individual department, it's kind of different. Those IT guys were definitely out partying, and it's kind of hard to focus on all the typing I had to do with them continuously talking. It was rather annoying. Ron's going to say as he's rubbing his forehead. But yeah, perhaps the warehouse is the best place to go. So we'll wait up there for tonight. And I don't know.
Sounds good to me. She's going to hand you your weapon back as well.
Exactly. I'm also going to mention, I guess, about how Horace was completely removed from the system. So I'm not sure if either of us knew where Horace lived, but perhaps we could even try there as a place. But I don't know, he might be completely like that. Might be, it might be an empty house by now. It wouldn't surprise me if it is. So we'll probably head back to the warehouse, or at least start walking that way as we're having this conversation. And Ron will be thinking about all the information that's locked on that computer that he just can't access. So at least he has the login codes, and he'll kind of pull it out of his kind of, sleeve and hand it to Soleil.
So you're asking if you want to just camp out at the warehouse.
Right now, I think it's the safest to keep Charlotte safe and out of sight. We definitely don't want her surfacing on any of the surveillance that's going on either of our apartments. So I think the warehouse is the least intrusive place. So we'll probably just hang out there and keep an eye on her. Because she's like wanted for sure, so. And probably as we get back to the warehouse, I'll just kind of inspect everything, see if I can find gauge where the most obvious places for people to enter, exit is, try and secure some of the doors, if I can.
Some of the easier access points are kind of like the fire exits. Some of them are actually just kind of standing wide open. So it was probably pretty easy for drifters or other, I guess, undesirables you could think of. Could just kind of camp out here if they wanted to.
All right. Well, we'll find the most secure kind of corner, I guess, of the warehouse and make that our home.
Okay, so what kind of setup, after you kind of block off all the entrances and whatnot, what kind of I guess setup are you trying to kind of to make it a living space of sorts, or just rather just somewhere to stay or sleep? How do you what kind of a setup you got going on here?
If there's anything we can use to make kind of a sleeping area and somewhere to probably sit and actually get somewhat comfortable, we'll do that. We'll also try and check. Absolutely. And as we're doing that, we're probably also kind of getting a gauge of where good cover would be if we ever got into a fight, anything like that. That's an 8. I'm not doing really well for rolls this year or this session.
Just kind of doing a cursory look around in some of the areas. You can't really find any good and usable materials that you could use to make a sleeping area or something. Most of it just seems to be kind of pretty well cleared out by either whatever the last legal tenant of the warehouse, or just people who's kind of scavenging and stealing things from the area.
That makes sense. I guarantee anything that's been left here has been taken to make another camp somewhere else. So looks like we don't have that great of a shelter for tonight, but at least we're safe. Ron's got some extra food just for dinner, but that's really all that he has besides... Oh, he's got a flashlight, so that'll be useful once night starts to approach. I'm guessing this is probably, midday? Something like that?
I'd say it's probably getting in towards the early evening.
Okay. I also have some binoculars, some bandages. Your standard notepad, which is kind of useless right now, but he'll have written down kind of a copy of the police login information into it. So at least Soleil and himself have copies of it in case either of us have to go back into the station. He has a lighter, so we could start a fire, but I don't know if we want to draw out that much attention to ourselves either. So maybe we'll just rely on the flashlight when we need it.
Okay, and what is is Soleil and Charlotte up to?
I'm probably just watching our backs, making sure nobody's getting in, or sneaking up on us.
Okay.
I'm pretty much doing the same. I just kind of have my back up against the wall. I'm not, really trying to move from there too much.
I guess after a while, once we're set up and we're all kind of established, Ron will just let the ladies kind of sit and talk and kind of guard the camp with the handguns, and he will take a walk with his police baton and kind of patrol around the building just to make sure they didn't miss anything in any bushes or have any weird people camping outside that we somehow missed. So he'll take kind of a larger perimeter sweep.
So you're just gonna do a sweep of the perimeter, right?
Yeah, I'll kind of, instead of just like searching the inside of the warehouse, I'll actually just kind of take a scan outside the warehouse just to make sure there's like no one camping in the bushes outside or anything that we miss.
Make a perception check.
Absolutely. Maybe there's something useful in the bushes, but perhaps not. Another natural one. This is amazing. That's, I think, the third one in this session. So I'm probably making quite a bit of noise outside.
You probably like stumble upon like some group of what do I want to say? It's like some sort of a group of people undergoing relations in the bushes.
I guess Ron will just get embarrassed and kind of just quickly walk off. After seeing that, he'll just be rather embarrassed, and that's kind of amusing. That is kind of funny, but he's probably going to traumatize those people as he walks off, very, loudly cracking twigs and snapping branches. But after that, he will finish kind of scanning the outside of the warehouse. Assuming he doesn't find anything, he will circle back to the group.
Okay, so you return back after
probably after like 20 minutes of walking around, and Ron will come back with a bit of like a red face from running into some poor couple out and about. So he won't say anything to the other two. He'll just kind of sit down and kind of go back to watch.
Charlotte will look over and just go, you good?
Yeah, there's just a young teen couple out living life, let's just say. But there's nothing dangerous out there, thankfully. I think most of the homeless people have cleared off, and most of the cops are far, far away from here.
She'll just nod, go back to what she was doing.
Yeah. It's probably not the nicest or pleasant place. We're just kind of all sitting in this warehouse with not a lot of wind protection or, anything like that, or things to keep us occupied, but at least we're all together, I guess. We're not all in jail.
After a while, Charlotte's going to just speak up and say, so they're looking for me already?
Yeah, I wasn't gonna mention too much, but he like kind of has a little write up or print out, perhaps, if Jeremy will allow it. If he could have printed the little wanted poster, but if not, he'll just kind of give a transcript of basically you're wanted for, I think it was treason and a couple other things.
Dissertation.
Yeah.
Her face is going to go really pale, and she's just going to go, and you're willing to hide me?
Or is it desertion? I think that's the word that I was looking for. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's all right.
Was it dissension?
Like deserting, like as like leaving your post.
Oh, okay. Yeah, desertion then.
Yeah. So my mistake.
He'll be like, yeah.
But anyways.
No. Yeah, Ron will to answer Charlotte's question. He'll be like, absolutely. After the things I saw in the last day, I really questioned what this police force is all about and what the city's really all about. So you seem like a very nice, honorable person. I don't know why you were found in the situation you were, but if they're trying to hunt you down, and if people like Horace go missing, and if people like me and Soleil, just doing our jobs, are under watch, something's not quite right. I don't know. That's just me being bold, perhaps.
My family would rather see me dead than let their secrets be known, so I appreciate that.
Ron will just nod and be like, Soleil, how do you feel? Are you on board with all this? You can say that you never saw us and you don't know what we're talking about at any point.
I could say that, but I don't think it would be right to go back to at least until we get some explanations. I cannot go back to my post.
I agree. I guess we're all in the same boat. I was going to say we should probably let Hector know, but perhaps maybe not. He's still on active duty, and I don't really want to let them have any way to try and find us. So maybe when this all starts to blow down, we can try and see how he feels about the situation. I know he's kind of has all that army training, but he's still a person under all that. So he seems like he had a bit of a heart, at least. But for now, we should all just stick together, and unfortunately, that means sitting in this warehouse. I imagine as it starts to get kind of darker, Ron will ask if we want to start a fire or not. He does have a lighter and some notepads, so it wouldn't be too hard. If not, we can just camp in the dark and kind of call it a night.
So, I guess it's, up to you what everybody wants to do. If you want to, I guess. Let's see.
I think Charlotte would probably prefer hiding in the dark.
No, it makes sense with all the you never know. You don't want to attract too many people, so.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna, I mean, stay here the night, and like, what would you do in, like, say, the morning?
In the morning, assuming nothing, not very well rested after a miserable night in the warehouse as far as sleep goes. I guess if Charlotte definitely doesn't want to see her family, so that's not an option. Our apartments aren't an option.
Could you repeat that? You cut out quite a bit while you were.
Oh, no, not a problem. I'm guessing Charlotte does not want to see her family because they're definitely after her. Our apartments are a no-go. Perhaps we could retrieve Ron's car and see if it's bugged. I'm trying to think of options of other places we could go for information. The police station... I don't know how many times we can keep going back there. So, Lay, do you have another idea?
If only we had some way to contact. And now, in real life, I just blanked on his name. Lubin's character.
Hector Keegan.
Yeah, Hector Keegan.
Hector. Yeah.
So you want to try and, like,
I mean, if Ron has some sort of, like... Sorry?
So you want to try and get in contact with him, right?
I
would imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one way forward just because we know... well, I suppose we don't know that we can trust him, do we? We at least know he seems to... I mean,
what we do know of him is, I feel like he does have some human qualities, but he's definitely in this kind of, experimental project. So that could be part, mechanical influences on his biological body. So I feel like Ron could trust Hector under given the conditions, but considering he's kind of under the control of the police force right now, he's kind of that double-edged sword.
Yeah.
So for now, maybe we...
It occurred to me, because, like, the more I think about it, the more I realize our characters don't really have any reason to trust him more than any other officer.
I don't know. He definitely had our backs when we were going through all that. I would have died without him there. So when I got shot, when we were going through the apartment buildings, he seemed very trustworthy. And again, he wasn't under direct influence of any kind of authority other than us. So I feel like he is human under all that kind of military training. And he is a very formidable person, so he would be a very useful person to have on our side. But again, I don't know how his mindset is, if he's wanting to do that or if he's very much dedicated. Here's a question. Is there anyone in Charlotte's life that she does trust other than, like, she obviously has her family, but that doesn't seem like a very trustworthy group for her.
Nope. That's about all I know.
Well, Ron doesn't either, so don't feel too bad. Don't feel too bad.
Charlotte is gonna kind of sheepishly dig around in her bag for a little bit, and then she was going to hand over a little black flash drive to Ron.
Ron's eyes are going to light up a little bit when he sees a little flash drive. Anything digital or electronic, he's all about technology. So something like this is useful to him. Now, do we have anything on us that would actually be able to read this, or do we gonna have to kind of find like an actual station computer of some sort?
I mean, it's just like a standard, USB flash drive that could plug into really any computer or anything.
All right. I feel like Ron probably have a laptop in his car, perhaps. I don't think he would have been carrying it around with him, but probably fair to say it would be in his car.
Yeah,
so
more than likely.
Maybe we will go retrieve that. Yeah, we'll go retrieve that. We'll get back to the car, and at least we'll be in some sort of shelter for a little, some cushion chairs rather than. After a little walk, I guess we would make our way to our car, assuming nothing happened along the way. And once we're back in the car, we'll just all jump in the car, and Ron will put the flash drive into his laptop as we're relaxing in probably some air-conditioned car. I'm assuming it's probably pretty hot on this day.
You kind of broke up a little bit again, but I'm assuming you you went to a retreat. You went to you walked back to to your car to retrieve your laptop. Is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say more so if we could retrieve the laptop and see what's on the drive.
Yeah, certainly.
And then we have the car at least.
Certainly.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna go retrieve your laptop, and you're gonna go plug that into your flash drive, or plug the flash drive into that. Sorry.
No worries. Yeah, if I could just see what's on the flash drive, basically, while we all start to relax in the car.
You see a few documents on there. Quite a few of them are marked the Department of Truth. And the very first one that you come across, it's labeled Operation Patriot, and it basically goes on to describe a plot to entrap and detain political dissidents by staging a violent political demonstration at the Citadel, and basically kind of goes on to list like how it's going to be like kind of propagated and like to these like these dissidents and like the sorts of people who are um, involved in this project. That's the first document that you see.
So yeah, seeing that, Ron's gonna be very excited. That basically proves everything that we'd been suspecting. So he'll kind of just like look back at Charlotte and just be kind of in shock that she's even in possession of this, and he'll be like, "I can see why they want you so badly now. We got to protect this really carefully."
Charlotte looks like she could throw up at any moment from anxiety, but she's dealing.
Yeah, so Ron's going to quickly scam a little bit more and then realize that, the longer this is in the computer, we need to take our time to read through this. So he's going to pop it out of the computer and just hand the USB right back to Charlotte and be like, "You should hold on to this. I feel like it's best that you hold on to it, unless you want one of us to hold on to it, but I think you're the most trusted person to have this."
Yeah, I'll keep it. I'll stick it back in my bag.
Okay. Yeah, that changes everything. We gotta make sure that falls into the right hands and that doesn't fall back into the wrong hands. And your family, I'm guessing, is aware that you have that?
No.
Even better. There's very few people I think that we can trust with this, but I'm glad that you guys are on board with it.
All right. So you found some at least one piece of incriminating evidence that basically confirms your suspicion that this whatever happened at the Citadel was a setup. It was it was planned, and there was nothing, I guess, organic or grassroots about it. So that definitely, any sort of suspicions or anything that you've had about the kind of what you stand for, and or really what you believe, is just kind of been smashed, and I guess now you don't really know what to believe or what to trust. But or if you do, there's just a lot of things that you just want to you've opened up a massive can of worms. We'll put it that way. So, what else is left for everyone to do right now? It's probably, late in the evening. The sun is probably set. It's probably dark now, actually.
Well, there's a couple places that we could call our home, really. I don't think anyone's eager to go back and spend another night in the warehouse, but that's the safest bet. There's the apartments, again, not the safest places, but definitely way more comfortable. And there's the car, which is also kind of the middle ground. Not very comfortable, but not the safest option either. Or we just go out and see if we can buy some actual gear and see if we could find another location. Or enough gear to make the warehouse comfortable. So that's also an option.
It certainly would be, but it's ultimately up to whatever you guys decide.
Or we try and find out if Horace's old house is vacant, because I'm starting to wonder if he's even alive anymore for his character. So, I think shopping is probably the better way to go. See if we can get some extra supplies. But I'm also open to any ideas that you guys want. Let me just triple check what would be the most useful gear.
So is that good for everybody else?
Yeah, Charlotte's just along for the ride at this point.
I was wondering if we could. Sorry, I'm tripping on my words. If we could end the session soon, because I'm getting really tired.
No worries.
That's fine. I would say you could probably go out and go, if that's what Officer Springs would like to do, just kind of run out, get some camping gear or something, and bring it back to the warehouse and kind of make a setup, like a makeshift setup here. You're basically squatting here.
Yeah.
And when you eventually decide to go to lay down for the night, all of you have a very similar sort of vision in your dream. You see this this character. You don't know exactly what it is, but it appears to be a vaguely humanoid shape, but it has 3 heads. It's one has the head of a bull, another is the head of a man, the other is a head of a ram, and has a serpent's tail. And it seems to be riding some sort of weird dragon of sorts. And every so often, throughout your vision, you see kind of flashes of this symbol in your head. I'm posting that into the chat. It's all vaguely similar, except for Charlotte, in which this creature says to her, "You will pay for breaking your oath." And that's where we will end it. Alright, so I hope that was again, this whole campaign has been very, very roleplay heavy. So I hope that you guys are still you enjoy it. But I'm gonna end the broadcast here.